Hi, welcome to my channel everybody. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a channel prediction reading for the 17th of March. Now firstly I just want to have a big shout out and say hi to all my subscribers out there. I love hearing from you guys, so make sure you comment down below because I love having our chats. You know, you guys support me as much as I hope that I'm there for you, but gosh, you guys are really I know that you're there for me as well, and that's what keeps us all going, is that connecting with like kind and having that support out there. So I'm giving you a big thank you as well, because it's really helping me a lot to not only grow my channel, but it's also helping me to feel stronger within myself, knowing that I'm not alone and isolated too, because I've been quite isolated over here in Australia. As we know, the vilification of anyone unvaccinated isn't real great. So thanks to that to you subscribers and you people watching out there. I do appreciate it. So I'll just close my eyes and we'll just get started. Now I'm definitely getting a get out of the hermit mode. So no hermit mode. You're not allowed to hide away anymore. Hiding away, the message is doesn't get anything achieved. So if you're sort of hiding away, nothing's going to change. So you've got to get out there and start creating changes. Now, this is about the masses. So, you know, I always talk about grouping and supporting each other and having that strength in numbers, because that's very crucial moving forward. But we can make changes. And I think we can already see just on a global scale how much change has actually been happening since the trucker movement, whether it was on a small scale or a large scale. They created movement around the globe, and they created a huge change in a lot of countries that realized the spotlight, as I said the other day, was being put onto them, and they didn't like it. So they've had to kind of drop a few mandates, open up. There's been a lot of shifts in a lot of countries because of the trucker movement. That has definitely created that domino effect. But this is what's happened. So that's why it's so crucial now, while we've got this window of opportunity, that we rise up and we stand up and we fight and push back against. That's definitely the message. No more hermits. It's time to get up, find that strength and push against. Now, I'll just see what is... well, that's what the message that I'm getting. That window of opportunity is open, and they're showing me like the little sort of this little square window, and it's sort of opened on its hinge, and that's saying like stick your head out now, because that's your window of opportunity. It's here and it's now, right now. You've got to take sort of that bull by the horns and take charge of your life now and start to make some changes. And now they're showing me, oh, this is a weird one. They're showing me like the Titanic sinking. And I know this sounds weird, but this, if you think about it, the Titanic was seen as this very sort of, it was a passenger ship really for the wealthy, the elites. You did have different classes on there, but really it was about giving these elites their experience, because we know a lot of cars and things went on these journeys as well. So when we're their representation of the Titanic, what they're saying is that these elites are starting to fall. Now, they're showing me like the ship half in the water, and if we think of the Titanic, it was like a shock, because nobody expected the Titanic to sink, because it was supposed to be this foolproof ship that nothing, you know, it was so safe, nothing was ever going to happen. And suddenly just this iceberg apparently came out of nowhere and caused damage to the hull or whatever, and suddenly the ship was sinking. And it was like such a shock for people in society, because nobody believed that could happen and kill so many. And there was a lot of elite people on this ship. And that's what their message is today, is that this ship is sinking. So you've got to picture the upturned kind of Titanic ship half in the water, and what it's saying is that this ship is starting to go down. And it's almost like showing me that all the freedom fighters, the light workers, and all these people who are trying to get their lives back, who are fighting against mandates. It doesn't matter what your vaccine status is. That's just irrelevant, because there's a lot of people who are vaccinated who've had injuries. There's a lot of people who've lost their jobs. Like, so many people out there have different stories. So I'm not judging anyone out there at all. But what they're showing me is that these people have all stood on the end of this Titanic ship, and they're jumping up and down and they're causing the ship to kind of rock, and this is where it's getting that sinking energy. So this is where we're starting to get that kind of balance. What was once all in their favor, the balance is now shifting. So this is why they're showing me that Titanic starting to slip and starting to sink. So this is why the window is open. We've got to take these opportunities now to keep going. If we want to get our lives back, or any sort of freedom and normality, we have to keep going, and we have to stay strong, and we have to stay together. And that's why this is starting to sort of tip that ship and cause things to sink. And I think we can definitely see that, because there's a lot more sort of truths coming out now. And yes, I said that they're sort of trickling out, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact that they're coming out and people are starting to see them, and that's what we want. We want this global movement where people take the rose-colored glasses off and they start to see the truths. Gosh, a video popped up here yesterday in Australia of our Premier, which is Dominic Perrottet. If you tap away, you might find it. I think it's under Carl Vernon's videos. And it's him actually saying that he's been working with Dan Andrews, the other Premier in Victoria, who was the most locked down city of Melbourne in the world. And he admitted he was working with him in cahoots, and they had brought QR codes in, even though they weren't contact tracing anymore. They only brought them in to try and rebuild confidence in the people, because they used, like, the media had instilled so much fear in people that no one was going out. So they decided together that they would instill the QR codes again to try and help people's confidence to move around the country again and the states. But they admitted that they weren't even contact tracing, or tracking and tracing wasn't happening. He was like laughing when he said it. No, that's a straight out lie. And these things are coming out. People are seeing them, but they're not even hiding it. That's the incredible part now. They're just, it's like conspiracy theory comes true. But no one bats an eyelid when it actually comes true. They just go, oh, okay. And no one's seeing it. And that's what's so frustrating. And that's why we have to stick together and keep taking our window of opportunity and moving these things forward, because whether they're big lies, as we know, like about the reset and who the global leaders and that are, there's also a lot of little lies that are also unfolding. And I'm surprised that they're actually talking about things like that, but they're actually coming out. So this is where this mass movement is tipping that ship. So I think we've got to take that real visual image of the Titanic. And for anyone who doesn't know about the Titanic story, I know I've got quite a few young people that watch my videos as well. Just go and tap around and you'll find the story and the history of the Titanic and the sinking of the Titanic. But most people are aware of that ship. So that's what I'm definitely getting. There's that tipping of it's like the water's starting to come in and it's starting to really tip now. So we have to keep going. That window of opportunity here, and the message is to keep going. Now, I'll just see if anything else comes through. Now, I'm also getting, in the movie The Titanic, gosh, we're on the Titanic today. In the movie The Titanic, there was a necklace, and I think it was a blue sapphire, I would say. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was a heart. And this is very significant because this is sort of representation of the jewel that will be found. So when you think of that necklace, there's a lot of, the word that comes to mind is, this is about wisdom. Now, they're saying that people watching this video, for example, you have the wisdom and the knowledge to navigate this journey. And they know that sometimes it feels like you're lost and it feels like you can't find your footing and get very grounded in your direction and how to sort of navigate this next part of the journey. But it's saying if you click that necklace on, and the representation is the necklace of wisdom, you're going to go far and you're going to make a difference. And that's what the real meaning of the necklace is. If we think of the blue sort of sapphire in it, it's a represent. Not only does it represent wisdom, but it's also representing the blue and the water and the flow, and just the things that can emanate from your energy, that softness. You know, blue and water to me is always about calm energy and that softness. So it's kind of saying, do that clasp up and get that kind of necklace on your neck in your mind. And that's about the wisdom moving forward, because it's saying that you've got that knowledge, you've got that wisdom. You see the facts, you see things differently. So if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you're a sensitive, you're a very woke person, you're quite awake in your spirituality, and that you also have a very good understanding of how this universe works, and how you understand a lot about people as well. And that's why this mass psychosis has been something I think that's really caught a lot of us off guard. Like even myself, it was quite shocking, and it took me a while to work out like what was happening. Why were people not using their logical mind? So if you're watching this video, you've obviously got a very clear sort of logic and way of problem solving as well, and that you can see these things. So that's definitely the message today, is to focus on that sort of blue stone, and it's definitely around this sort of Titanic energy where the ship is starting to sink, and things are we're sort of at that tipping point. And that's the message today, and that's why it's so crucial that we keep sharing the messages, sharing the wisdom, listening to people. If someone's got a story to tell you about their experiences during this, maybe just listen, be a kind ear. That's another way that we can really help people, because I think what we've got to remember is that if people have had a reaction or a vaccine injury, or they don't want to get the booster, they're starting to feel uncomfortable about it. So they're feeling also like they could be vilified like the unvaxxed were. So this is what I mean about the stages that we're all going through, and the journey of the awakening. Their souls have to go through these breakdowns and wake up. And so you've also got to be that kind ear and that supportive ear to sort of help prop people up. I think the other day I talked about throwing people a life buoy, and that's appropriate with the Titanic analogy. Throw people that life buoy so you're helping to keep others afloat as well. Definitely keep yourself on the boat and hang on to that rail, but send someone a life buoy, and you're keeping that connection alive by the rope and what's connecting you and that person. So, you know, slowly they might decide to either swim towards you, or to come towards you, or to come towards a different journey as well that's going to take them on a different path. But just be that person who's sort of sharing that kind ear and just being there to support and help other people who are, if you think about it, waking up, it is a hell of a shock to wake up and think you've been pretty much lied to and manipulated by the media for 2 years. That's got to be a shocking thing. And knowing that you've put some sort of, say, juice into your body, and now you're starting to find information out, that's quite a frightening thing. And I think with all the Pfizer data that came out as well, that's probably really scared a lot of people, and they're wondering what's going on. So look, just hang on to that hang on to the side of the boat and don't let go, because this is our window of opportunity, and we're going to make changes. And all together, I just know that we can do it, because we've already made huge shifts thanks to the Canadian truckers. Like, I always have to give them a shout out, because they're the ones that started to really cause this mass awakening. So look, hi to everybody out there, my Canadian friends, Denmark. I've got people in Sweden, Netherlands, gosh, some in New Zealand. I love all you guys, and I love hearing from you. It's great to all share our journey and the experiences that we're having. And look, I honestly, from my heart to yours, I send you strength. And I really do appreciate you, because you guys are the ones that are keeping my focus on something else. rather than the things that are currently going on around me as well, because it's really helping me a lot as well to grow as a person and understand other people's journeys and what you're living through too. So look, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification because that lets you know when I come up. Hit those like buttons because that keeps these messages flowing around. And if you need help with anything self-help, I've actually got tons of videos on suicide, when you want to give up and stop living, depression. I've even got some on attraction, and heaps and heaps on body language that can help you too. So go and check those out. I'd love you to do that, and I'll see you in that very next video. Bye from Australia.